Oh, hello. Say, the Delaware River Basin is home to over 8 million people who are dependent on its water for life. But the system we have now is not sustainable. Humans made gray infrastructure, which in turn is very harmful to the environment. However, there's a movement around the world where people are taking on the cause of environmental stewardship, using green infrastructure, which looks at nature and looks at the patterns in nature and incorporates nature itself into the design of where they are. Say, are you interested in teaching the basic concepts of watershed stewardship? I thought so. Well, you're at the right place. What I've done is I've created a model using only household objects, only things from around the house. I put together this 3D model that shows the gray infrastructure and how a rainwater runoff directly affects our local river in a very negative way. And then I've been able to add green infrastructure to this gray infrastructure model to show the effects that green infrastructure can have on our local watersheds. Come on, let's check it out. So as a backdrop, I live in the Delaware Direct watershed in the city of Philadelphia, where my main water source is the mighty Delaware River. And like most older American cities, we have a combined sewer system where the stormwater runoff from the rain and the sewage from all the buildings and industrial sites are combined in the same pipes and go to the same place. And this disrupts the larger hydrological cycle. Water is supposed to hit the ground and infiltrate and filter naturally through the next stage in the process. But in urban areas, there's way too much impervious surfaces like concrete and our combined sewer system, which leads to more runoff and hurts the cycle. In the Green Cities Clean Waters Plan, the Philadelphia Water Department outlines a more sustainable approach using green infrastructure. As other things, they give a bunch of these tools like a flow-through planter or a rain garden, a rain barrel cistern, a green roof, different types of pervious pavement, a stormwater planter, a stormwater bump out curb, and a stormwater tree trench. So I was thinking, how can I create something small and simple that shows the effects of these green infrastructure tools? So I started gathering things from around the house and putting them together. Here's my list of ingredients, and I hope you can maybe use some of these, but use creativity to make your own. And I started putting these together, and I created a gray infrastructure model. I want to be able to simply demonstrate how our urban water cycle works. So to do this, I took a piece of cardboard and a whole lot of duct tape and created our impervious surfaces, which is our streetscape. Then took a toilet paper roll and duct tape inside and out, connected that as our street sewage drain for rainwater. I then, for the combined sewer system, took a paper towel roll and a 90-degree connector piece from a PVC plumbing pipe. I then connected the one end with an empty water bottle, which is to be our sewage input. This is going to be water. And then for a water treatment plant, which is our output, it's a soup container with a hole in the bottom, which leads right into the Delaware River, which is some pots just to collect the water. So let's see how this gray infrastructure model works on a day where there's no rain. To start our model, water is poured into our input. This represents the sewage of the city. It's the combined businesses and residential areas of all their sinks and showers, their toilets, all the nasty stuff that you don't want. And the wastewater treatment plant slowly collects this water and filters it into the Delaware River, which is the pan right there. On a day with no rain, it does a pretty good job of just collecting all this water and filtering it. Let's look at it again. Remember, the soup container represents the wastewater treatment plant. Pretty good. But on a day where it's raining, let's see what happens. Water again is poured into our input representing our sewage. But now a downpour occurs. Oh no, it's going into our combined sewer system, and our wastewater treatment plant just can't keep up. So the leftover water is going straight into the Delaware River, and this is the combined sewage and rainwater that's going untreated into the river. Let's look at it again. I think this model does a good job of representing what happens in real life, just less than an inch of rain. and that's the combined sewage overflow, where all this raw sewage and rainwater runoff is just too much for the treatment plant to handle, so they send the rest untreated into the Delaware. To make our green infrastructure tools, I took the lid of a takeout container and poked a hole in the side and taped a straw to it. Then the green towel is going to represent pervious surfaces like gravel or soil or plants where water can slowly filter through. This is a small takeout container with a hole poked into it leading into another small takeout container with holes poked into that. Remember that this green infrastructure is really an adaptation to the gray infrastructure. I also want to do a little bump out curve here. So what I do, first step, is break up the concrete. Remember that underneath this streetscape there's a towel representing the layers of soil. So with the concrete broken, soil can infiltrate in. And essentially now, what I have is a green roof, which is the lid and the towel, which slowly filters water and leads that into our rain barrel and garden. And this also slowly catches water and uses it. And then we have a bump out curve here, or just some rain catcher. Just like before, water is added to our input, which is sewage, and then a downpour occurs. This time looks like the green infrastructure tools are actually able to hold a lot of this water. They're able to retain the rainwater and use it and slowly filter it like the natural water cycle through the deep soils and our now pervious surfaces. You can see that the water treatment plant is not overwhelmed. Let's look at it again. Through the use of green infrastructure, we've been able to severely limit the amount of stormwater runoff we have, which prevents the combined sewage overflow, which means that we're not sending all this untreated water into the Delaware River watershed. Well, thanks for watching. And I hope this video inspired you to maybe make your own model for green infrastructure. Or better yet, implement green infrastructure around where you live. Well, I'm Jonny Szczesniak, reminding you, stay green, stay clean, and against the machine.